Hello, my name is Natalia Hewing. It is currently 6:02 and this is Bold, the radio show in which we talk about everything and anything. So, we're currently on the 3rd of December. We are getting very, very, very close to Christmas. I think it's, quick thinking skills. It's like 3 weeks away. That could be wrong. It's very close. It's very close. I think it is like 3 weeks-ish. Give or take like 5 days. And I just really wanted to talk about something that I thought was kind of interesting. You know, it's not necessarily the most important topic in the world, but sometimes we like to discuss things that might not seem as important as, you know, some stuff, such as the current election. I feel like that's the US word for it. It's not. Is it? No, it's not. Ignore me. Anyway, such as the voting at the moment to decide which party we want on the 12th of December. I think it was my last show, or maybe the show before that I said that I think it was that day that I thought that the election was happening that day. So I'm sorry if I think everyone probably would have known it was the 12th of December, but if I sent anyone into a bit of a panic, I'm sorry, I was very wrong. I'm not legally allowed to vote yet. I'm a year off, which, you know, is that's a whole nother debate. Should we lower the voting age to 16? Possibly. Maybe we can explore that on a future show. Let me know if you'd like to hear that on either at Bold Digital Radio on Instagram or at Italia Hewing on Instagram. Admittedly, I do check Italia Hewing more, but if you're not a new listener to this, then you know that I always check Italia Hewing more. But I'll probably get the notification anyway. So it's the 3rd of December. We're getting very, very, very close to Christmas, and it kind of comes up with the discussion of when is the right time to start buying presents for other people, because the thing is that Christmas is my favourite time of year. I love it. I love it. Everything about it. I love the weather, especially if it snows, which is funny because I'm a summer baby. But no, I love snow. I love the feeling of it. I like the fact that you can, you know, properly cozy up. I love Christmas. I love Christmas as a whole. It's just amazing. Oh, it's amazing. Everything about it. And I mean, I feel like there's just kind of a feeling that comes with Christmas, because obviously we have Christmas because of like the oranges, not the oranges. Oh, that is not why we have Christmas. We have Christmas obviously because of the origin of baby Jesus being born. I'm Christian, so it kind of it's an important holiday anyway for me. But I think that it's just so cool. I love the feeling of it. You know, that kind of it's a feeling. And obviously not everyone kind of enjoys Christmas, or not everyone has the same sort of feelings towards it. There's actually a documentary, I think it is, that Sainsbury's made that you can check out if you just type in Sainsbury's Christmas. It could be by like Morrison's, I don't think it is, but if you just went onto YouTube and typed in like Sainsbury's Christmas advert, I'm sure you'd probably find something. Not advert, documentary, there we go, we need to get the phrasing right. And it's kind of about what different people do at Christmas. And it's really interesting because you do see that not everyone kind of is having, I guess, the quote-unquote traditional Christmas, or because obviously depending on your religion, or depending on who you are, or just depending on personal choice, you might not celebrate Christmas. It might be something that you've recently decided to not celebrate, or it's something that you've always decided to not celebrate. And even if you do, everyone has different traditions and things, and not everyone enjoys this time of year. And I think I'd quite like to do kind of a section on that at some point. I've got a lot of leftover shows because I always write too much. Not shows, show. I've got a lot of leftover show because I just put too much in, which is a good thing, because then, you know, we've got some stuff to work with for the next week. but I do think that, you know, it would be really interesting to explore, especially because we're coming up to that time of year. If you have any thoughts on it, please let me know. Or if you're listening and you don't celebrate Christmas, or, you know, because of your religion or because of just a personal choice, then please let me know. And I'd love to kind of hear your take on it. And the other thing is, if you do, but you just don't enjoy this time of year, then I'd really, really like to hear from both people that kind of experience that, because it's, you know, I'm not in that, and if I'm going to talk about it, it might be nice to get some personal experiences. So yeah, let me know again on either at Bold Digital words, there we go, Bold Digital Radio, or at Italia Hewing on Instagram. Either one I have, so there we go. So yeah, I was kind of talking about the whole idea of when should you start kind of getting presents, or you know, because obviously that's not kind of the meaning behind Christmas, but it really depends on who you are and why you celebrate it and things, and just kind of your experiences and what your family does. I love buying presents for other people. I genuinely, if I was ever going to have a child, I've probably said this on the show before, future child, listen, if you exist, you may never exist, you never know, but if you exist, then please listen, you are going to have a really cool Christmas. I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you that. I know you, if you exist, you, right, this has gone into a completely different thing. If anyone's just tuned in and has just heard that section, there's no explanation for that, I'm sorry. But genuinely, I love it, and it's such a cool thing to be able to kind of go all out and just go a little bit, I guess, not even go a little bit mental with it, but just be able to go out and just do that, because especially for me, it's not something that I do particularly on other days of the year. It really is Christmas, especially that I was working, and so that's why I've got money. That's why I was able to kind of get a good amount of money, and be able to kind of again, we're just saving, but through that you can, I guess, if it's something that you choose to do, be a bit less careful and things, which I know isn't, you know, because obviously I don't know, it's just such an enjoyable thing to do, but it really kind of poses the question of when's the right time to go and get Christmas presents. You'll have people that will be doing it on Christmas Eve, right? Yeah, that's a typical thing that we can expect to see if you go somewhere shopping on Christmas Eve, or you know, or even a couple of days before Christmas. But then some people do that in, like, I don't think anyone's doing it in April necessarily, but you know, some people do it definitely kind of earlier on. I started, I guess, November, I think. I don't remember when, but I think I did start then. It's not even a question, I know. But some people might be starting in, like, trying to think of months, September potentially, October, you know. Some people might even start in August, who knows, it depends if you have a family, I guess, and kind of planning. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting topic, because it kind of also poses a thing of, like, when's the right time to send people Christmas cards, when's the right time to play Christmas music. I played a Christmas song just before the show started, and it was because Thomas Marshall, who is another DJ on the station, he has a show just before me, so if you ever listen to this show, check out him as well. He's amazing at doing this and presenting, and he was in the studio, and because the thing is that with this show in particular, right, sometimes it might seem like I'm, you know, more on top of it, which is true, you know, sometimes I've got a good plan going, but if you see me behind the scenes, I am terrible with the technical aspect, because obviously in a studio, you'll have to kind of like move up buttons, obviously, so that you can be heard through the mic. And then there's Ys and stuff. And the other thing is that with like the computer system, I have been doing this since September of 2018, right? And I'm still asking the same questions that I was asking like probably in my first month, which is terrible because I need to get it into my head. Because obviously it's like there's some technical aspects of the show that I haven't even added in, because there's some people that can kind of bring more technicalities into it, which I haven't kind of progressed onto. But I'm basic with it, I'm very basic with my technical knowledge, very, very, very basic. So he was just helping me with that, and he kind of recommended to put a Christmas song on, and so that's why that came on. But again, something else I know, EJ, who is, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, another presenter, I think his show's on a Sunday, I think it is, definitely check that out. I feel like it's in the afternoon, I feel like it's at 4, but I could be so wrong. I don't know, I might look that up. Because his shows are incredible as well. And I don't think he approves of kind of Christmas songs being played before December, or too early on. And so really it's a good question. When do you think's the best time to play Christmas songs? If you're into it, I say August. I say April. I say, what's a month before April? January, February, March. Why not? March. That's like 1 month before, but you know what I'm saying. Go crazy. Live your best life. There we go. But still, I guess that's what's kind of special about Christmas songs, is that if you play them at Christmas, then they are Christmas songs, and you can kind of get into it that way and feel again, if you celebrate it, that kind of feeling of Christmas through that potentially. So there we go. Right, after the song I'm going to go into a very, very different topic, which is university. I started talking about this a bit last week and I can't remember how in depth I went, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more. And just before that, I'm going to play a song that is actually on... So I think most of the music that I'm playing today is from the Prospect Music Awards. I think it is the new name of it, because it was originally Rising Star and now it's been changed to Prospect because of, I guess, copyright. And so there's the lineup for that was announced, I think, Sunday. I might be wrong. But that was announced a couple of days ago. So it's 25 artists and you can go online and vote for 10. And then I think it kind of counts between the judges, and then again, like EJ, who's another presenter on the station, as I said before, he's one of the judges, and then there's some very cool people. Everyone that's judging it is incredible. So yeah, go follow that as well. Prospect Music Awards on Instagram. I actually, is that the right name? You know what? I might be able to check this. Let's have a look. Some live checking. It is the Prospect Music Award. Yeah, so go online, go and follow them on Instagram, Prospect Music Award, and go vote for your top 10 artists. So I think all of, if not most of the songs that I'm going to be playing on the show today are from it, because it just introduced me to some very cool music, and kind of reminded me of some, I feel like I've heard this song before, and you possibly have as well. It's very, very well made, and she's an incredible artist. So this is Bad Idea by Girl in Red. Please enjoy. It was a bad idea, calling you up was such a bad idea, 'cause now I'm even more lost. It was a bad idea to think you were the one, was such a bad idea, 'cause now everything's wrong. You put your hands under my shirt and did my brow and said these words, darling,
pushed me up against my wall, threw my clothes down on the floor. You said, darling, are you ready for more? It was a bad idea. Calling you up was such a bad idea. I'm totally. It was a bad idea. To think I could stop was such a bad idea. I can't get enough.
And we are back. That was Bad Idea by Girl in Red, which again is one of the artists, Girl in Red is, for Prospect Music Award, which was announced a couple of days ago, I think. So again, follow Prospect Music Award on Instagram, and then go vote for your top 10 artists. Girl in Red is incredible, but I think you can go and listen to either some of their songs on Spotify or like a song, or I guess just be introduced to the artists, so you can listen further. It probably brings up like a particular song on a Spotify playlist so that you can go listen to that, or you can go and watch a video. I think I think there was a problem with voting, but it might be all up and fine again now. But you can go in, I think through the Prospect Music Award website, you can go and actually look at a video through a link, I think, which has individual clips from each of the artists, and then you can go vote. So yeah, I've voted, and the other thing is I think it will introduce you to some incredible music. Again, most of the music there, or if not all, I know that there's I have a couple of recommendations today, but most of the music that I'm playing on today's show is from the Prospect Music Award, and that is because it introduced me to some great songs. So yeah, definitely go check it out. Anyway, just before the song, I was talking about how I am going to discuss university a little bit further. We're in December, so anyone that's decided to go is like a couple of months in, and actually today is the day that I think hopefully I will send off my application to go and be checked and for my reference to be added to it, which is good because it ticks something off, and it's nice to make sure that it's finished and gone, and I can be like, whew, there we go, that's all fine now, hopefully, unless there's information that I've filled out wrong and things, but for the most part it's probably fine. And I just wanted to kind of pose a question of, should people have to pay for university anyway? I think that there's that's not a word. Particular political. That's not alliteration. We need 3 P's. Is that alliteration? No. My GCSE English was not that long ago. It was in year 11. It was long enough ago for me not to remember. Is my excuse. But it's like particular political parties. I guess I don't know the ins and outs of it, but some of them might think university should be free. Some of them maybe think that people should have to pay for them. Again, I don't know the complete facts or the ins and outs of it, but I just asked the internet. I asked on my Instagram polls, should people have to pay for university? And drum roll, please. Ooh, there we go. Good old desk drum roll. 33% of people said yes, and 67% of people said no. So that's interesting. Because, again, from that we can see that the overall kind of verdict is that people shouldn't have to pay for university. And so I also asked the question of what would be a good price to pay for university as a whole, because, but it really is kind of interesting, because again, some of the people that have answered on the poll probably might not be at university, might not be at that age yet, or maybe are at university, or have been. There's kind of different opinions to it. I've written a note next to this I didn't say this in the poll. You have to pay right at the end. Oh right, here we go. I've written See, you can tell that this is an old segment. It says, not old in the fact that I think it's been left over because I always write too much on my shows, but it says, I didn't say this in the poll, but you don't have to pay for it until the end, and only if you're making a certain amount of money. That's true. The way that university, obviously you have to pay for accommodation, and you have to pay for food and living and all of that fun stuff. As well as, going out, clearly, but you do get the actual, I'm not completely sure if these are the facts, I'd research it if you're planning on going to university or just if you're interested, but the actual education of it, I don't think you have to pay until you're earning a certain amount of money, and then there's a kind of cut-off time when if you haven't paid it off, they'll just be like, all right. I don't know what age that is, but or how long after it would have to be, but it really is a thing of that you could go, and then obviously you'll have to pay for the other stuff. But if you're not making above a certain amount of money anyway, then, and even if you're making above, I guess, the minimum amount, I think it depends how much you make to how much you'll have to pay back, I guess, a month. I don't know exactly how it works, but there we go. Those are the kind of more facts around it. So here with the responses. So someone responded 2,000 a year. Someone else said depends on what you're doing. That's an interesting point, definitely. Someone else said nothing. Somebody said there's 3 terms in a year. So personally, 1,000 per term, so 3,000 for the year. And someone else said 200 to 300 per term if there had to be a charge, which there shouldn't be. Yeah, because I guess in the sense that, again, you're not going to have to pay it back unless you are making a certain amount of money at some point or above the kind of money, and then it depends anyway. But even with that, I guess it kind of is the thing of it's really difficult to say, especially if you go and live. The thing is that if you have to pay for accommodation, obviously that's not going to be free, because if you were going to go and try and live somewhere without going to university, you'd have to pay for it. And the same thing for food and going out and things. But I think that it is the thing of kind of it's really difficult to say, because obviously people's parents earn different amounts of money, and people earn different amounts of money, and people come from different backgrounds and circumstances. So that's definitely a factor in it. But it's also the question of, should people have to pay for education, because it's higher education. So in a sense, it's not something that you have to do. Like, you'd have to have some form of education at primary, secondary kind of age. I think you legally have to at college, sixth form age as well. I'm not sure if everyone does. I don't know exactly how it works, but at university is an optional thing. You do not have to go. You can go straight into work, or you can not. You have options after it, other than going to university. Definitely. I mean, you can take a gap year. You can go and travel. You can go straight into work. You can do an apprenticeship. There's so much that you can do, but with kind of having to pay for education, someone else posed the question of, it kind of said that it depends on what you're doing to how much you should have to pay for it. And that's interesting, because then I suppose it sort of depends on what type of, if that were to be put in place, what type of course, maybe kind of how much, I don't know exactly how it works, but maybe it could be based on how much money has to go into the course, if that makes sense. Like, if there's a course where because of it, a lot of equipment's needed, like for university next year, I'm looking at broadcast journalism. You might have guessed, I'm doing a radio show. It's fun. I love it. I love this show. It's so cool that I'm live. So cool. But really, I do think it is properly a thing of like, if that were to be put in place, then maybe if a particular course, again, like broadcast journalism used particular types of equipment or needed to use things like or studios, in contrast to something that's maybe kind of more theory based. So maybe it's the more practical subjects that would be more expensive, but then that could put people off as well, you know. And it could, so it's really a big question. It's a big question of whether or not you should have to pay. I don't know if there's a proper answer. And the other thing is, because everyone's going to have different opinions, and in addition to that, we don't really know what's going to happen in the future. I guess it depends on which party's running the country or kind of decisions that are made. So we never know. Maybe one day university will be free, or it will be like it was in the past. I think it was a different system in the past. And so because of that, it could change. It could change in the future. But I guess we don't really have any way of knowing for certain. And, you know, it could definitely be a beneficial thing, because that could put some people off going to university, even if they wouldn't have to pay for it until they kind of make a certain amount of money. So yeah, it's an interesting topic. We'll have to see what happens in the future, I think, is kind of the thing that comes out of that. If you have any thoughts, or if you want to discuss this further, then yeah, again, message me on @BoldDigitalRadio on Instagram, or which is the radio show Instagram. Probably clearly this is Bold, the show. Or @ItaliaHewing on Instagram. Either one, but again, I'm probably more likely to check Italia Hewing. That's ATALYAHEWING on Instagram. But message me on either. Right, it's time for a song. This song is also from the Prospect Music Awards. I was talking about it earlier on in the show. And if you go on the website, or if you go on the Instagram, you can go vote for your 10 favourite artists out of 25. So definitely do that. But this song is very, very cool, and the only reason that I've heard this is because of the awards. And yeah, it's amazing. And I love it. I love it so much. Anyway, this is Waste My Air by Sophie and the Giants. Please enjoy.
Purple lips, filter tips, body stripped. Water runs down our skin, we're shivering. What's the odds of a god that we just can't afford? Overrated, and we're hated by the town outside our door. I pray for you, I made the bones for you to hold on to. Lie in the rain, forget the shame, I change game again, and I owe you. Say you won't, too much to bear. Tell him don't waste my air. Say you won't, too much to bear. Tell him don't waste my air. Heavy nights, checking likes, parasites. Fingers gripped round my hips, lost in it.
And that was Waste My Air by the amazing Sophie and the Giants. Again, I've said this multiple times during the show, but that song I discovered from Prospect Music Awards, which is running currently. So yeah, go vote. 10 out of the 25 on either the website or the Instagram Prospect Music Award. Here we go. So just before the song, I was talking about universities and how much we should have to pay for them, if we should have to pay for them. You know, it's a big topic. And something that's very, very unrelated that I've actually discussed on the show before, I think very early on, and maybe a little bit a couple of weeks ago, but I'm going to delve into it more now, is zodiac signs, because I think I definitely have touched on it before. I found it, and I found it from a very early show last year when I was looking through, and some people believe in zodiac signs, and some don't. You know, and then some people might resonate with the traits of their zodiac sign or think that they can see it in someone else and not necessarily believe in it or understand it. And it's such an interesting topic because the thing is that for me personally, it's not that I necessarily, I guess, it's so difficult. It's so difficult because it's not that difficult. It's not that deep. But I don't think I've ever used that phrase before, but I just used it then because it feels, I don't know, it really depends on the person. But I think for me, definitely, maybe it is that deep, I don't know. For me, it really is a thing of that, it's not that I don't believe in it, because I very, very, very much resonate with the traits of my sign, and of people, especially in my family. You know, I'm sure people in my family won't mind me saying, but I've got, you know, there's every single person in my family is a different zodiac sign, and if you look at it, it's like, yeah, I see that. I do see that. Definitely. And the thing is that it's a certain thing that it's kind of a topic that it's like, I don't understand it necessarily. And I don't, it's so, maybe I need to do more research on it, but I do resonate with my sign a lot, and I'm a Leo, and we're supposed to be, you know, there's a website that I always go back to when I'm looking at it, and we're supposed to be quite warm, which I hope I am. That's something I'd really like to be. I don't know. I guess it depends on who you ask, but and we're supposed to really like theatre. I do. I'm studying acting, so that's some stuff. Anyway, there's a bunch of different traits and kind of likes and dislikes and things that are you can look into. So if you're interested, then it's a cool thing to kind of look at. And there's a really good video on YouTube where it's Melanie Murphy, who is one of my favourite YouTubers ever. She's incredible. She makes some very, very cool stuff. And the thing about her is that I think it's something that you just very typically you can resonate with, and she just speaks so like well and openly about things. She's a Leo as well. You know, I'm happy to be in that club because she's wonderful. And there's also Jessica Brennan, who is her sister, and they've made videos together as well. She's a Pisces, I think. So, you know, that's another incredible club to be in if you're a Pisces, because she is amazing as well. They both make such cool videos. And they made a video where they're kind of talking about horoscopes. And it's such a interesting video to watch because, again, Melanie is a Leo as far as I know, and Jessica's a Pisces. I'm sure this is true, but in the video they're kind of talking about it and seeing, I guess, if they kind of resonate with it, and I'm not sure if it's kind of a thing of, again, you can maybe resonate with it and then not believe in it, but it's on Jessie's channel. If you go on YouTube and you typed in Jessica Brennan zodiac signs or Jessie B, zodiac signs, it should come up. I'd recommend watching that video and just everything they both make. Melanie Murphy and Jessica Brennan. They're from Ireland and just make such cool videos. So yeah, check that out. And so in the Jessie B Zodiac video, her and Melanie talk about zodiacs in relationships. Which is kind of an interesting topic because I guess it can influence it. But I asked the question of do you think your zodiac sign is correct on Instagram on the poll? Because again, it's like Marmite, divided opinions. And this is very closely divided. 47% of people said yes, and 53% of people said no. So yeah, it's very kind of close in that, and it's quite equal in the sense that I guess kind of half the people do and half the people don't. And I really think particularly that if we look at kind of zodiacs in dating, I asked the question of, does someone's zodiac sign influence if you should date them? Because again, they're talking about in the Jessie B video, her and Melanie were talking about kind of relationships and zodiacs in that. I think they were possibly just I definitely just watched the video, and it does bring up the topic of, does someone's zodiac sign have any correlation with whether or not you should date them? So that's what I asked on the Instagram poll. Does someone's zodiac sign influence if you should date them? And 12% of people said yes and 88% of people said no. So very, very much showing that we can see that most people say no to that, which is, kind of says a lot about, I guess, particularly how the people that responded to the poll, I suppose, think about it. And it's so difficult to know. The thing is that in my kind of experiences, I don't know if it plays that big of a role. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Even with friendships and things, I'm friends with a lot of Leos. My best friends are actually Leos. There's someone that I'm really, really good friends with, and she's a Leo, and someone else, just people that I can think of on the top of my head that I'm really close to or have been really close to, are Leos. So maybe there's something to it. I don't know. If you know more about this than I do, then please hit me up. You can be a guest, and we can talk about it and educate me, because I want to kind of see someone else's perspective on it and just kind of how you feel about it. I did ask on Instagram polls as well that what is your zodiac sign and what traits for you are right and wrong. Someone replied and said Scorpio, and I have no clue. I am. I know a couple of Scorpios. I don't know kind of exactly what's into that, but again, if you're interested, then definitely research it. And someone else said, I'm very loyal, although I am arrogant at times. I know that they're a Leo, so same as me. And it's, I think that is possibly traits of it. Maybe. Again, research it if you're interested. But it's just such kind of a broad topic, and I'd love a guest to come on and talk about this. Or, something else we can do is, if you can't actually come and be on the show, that's completely cool. But what could be a really good thing to do is if we could just do a call, and I can do a call with you live if you kind of know more about this or are interested in it. And we can kind of talk about it the way in which Jessie B and Melanie Murphy do on YouTube. Again, I'm saying it again because it's such a great video and they're so great, but they're talking about zodiac signs on YouTube, so look it up. Jessie B Zodiac signs. So cool, so cool. Yeah, if you want to be a guest and talk about it, or have a call live on the show, then again, this is about the fourth time I've mentioned this today, but please message me on either at Bold Digital Radio on Instagram or at Atalia Hewing, which is ATALYAHEWING. I'm going to say that again because I messed it up. ATALYAHEWING on Instagram. And you know, let me know if you want to talk about it more. Anyway, I'm going to play another song now, which again is from Prospect Music Awards, and it is very cool. And I think it would be worth listening to this artist more because I don't know if I heard this song before. I kind of recognise it, and maybe you do as well. But he seems very cool, and he seems very creative as well, which is something that is, you know, a very cool trait for artists to have. I think every single musician or artist that's in the Prospect Music Awards this year is, and every year, you know, is just so creative. And there's so many good choices. But yeah, definitely check this person out a little bit more if you're interested. But this is Alien Boy by Oliver Tree.
I fell down to earth from 100 miles away, and somehow I still make it work. But it's overrated and somehow played out. 3 doors down so you can't ignore it. I'll hunt you down like a Tyrannosaurus. My teeth are sharp like a great white shark. Let me taste that flesh, is my favorite part. Got an eagle beak with the ostrich feet. 7 spider eyes for every day of the week. Means I'm still at work, and while your bitch ass sleeps, I'm an alien among the human beings. I fell down to earth from 100 miles away, and somehow I still make it work. But it's overrated and somehow played out. Tried to tell you that I'm out here on my own. I fell down to earth from 100 miles away, and somehow I still make it work. But it's overrated and somehow played out.
And we are back. That was Alien Boy by Oliver Tree. Again, that was from Prospect Music Awards, which you can go and vote for now online or on. It is online, but you can go and look at the account on Instagram. So just before the song, I was talking about zodiac signs and Melanie Murphy and Jessica Brenham's. It's on Jessie B's channel, Jessica Brenham, on YouTube, talking about kind of them discussing zodiac signs and if it should have influences on our relationships and kind of, you know, the Instagram internet's opinions on that. And kind of something that kind of goes off from that is, how do we decide who we are? This is a big topic, and I've got quite a lot about this, I think, on my plan. So I might leave this till next week. It's a good chunky topic. Chunky. It's a good word. Chunky. Anyway, let's move on from that. But yeah, it's a big topic, and I've got some good stuff on that, I think. So I might leave that till next week. So let's talk about something Christmassy. Why not? We're close to Christmas. I kind of mentioned this at the start of the show. But I guess that, because I think I see I had the same problem with this. It's like 3 weeks away. 3 weeks, maybe a bit over that. But it kind of poses a question of, what are the best activities for winter in general? It kind of depends if it's snowing or if it's not snowing. Or I guess just on the weather or where you live and things. But I think I wrote down a couple of kind of good activities, and I might have a poll on this from possibly a couple of weeks ago. Let's have a look. Do I? I do. There we go. Right. So I've written down hot chocolate. I feel like that's a classical winter. That's something that we can kind of expect to come out of it, and it's nice. It's comforting. It's warm. If it's really cold, it's a nice thing to have as well as tea. But I feel like tea is more of an all. It's not as if there is kind of. You can't do this at this time of year, because obviously you can drink hot chocolate in the middle of August. Of course, you can listen to Christmas songs in the middle of August. I know that that's controversial, but, live your best life. But the thing is that hot chocolate, I guess you can associate more with winter, even though you don't need to just drink it in winter. I feel like tea is more of kind of an all year round thing. That might be, again, a bit of a generalisation. You can drink tea or hot chocolate whenever you want. Why not? Exactly. There we go. So, and something else that I mentioned was lots of blankets. Yeah, if it's cold, if it's snowing, then just pile it on. Just pile them up. You can get in front of the sofa. If you have a dog, get your dog. If you have a cat, get your cat. If you have a llama, get your llama. Why not? And just kind of get really comfortable, because if you can't in the middle of winter when it's really cold outside or snowing or, however it is, then when can you? Something else is Christmas shopping. Again, if it's getting close to that time of year, and if you celebrate Christmas, and if it's something that you like to do, then winter's obviously a good time to do that. Although, again, as I mentioned earlier on the show, it depends if you have a family or kind of when you like to start doing it and when you start planning, which again is a very personal thing. And something else is somewhere with snow. So I went somewhere, I think I was probably, I'm trying to work out how old I would have been, like 11/12. Yeah, like around that age, I think. And it was with my church youth group, and we went to the Snow Dome, I think, which I'm not sure how close it is to here. I feel like it's probably not too far. But we went there, and it could be far, but and we went there, and you can kind of do sledding or I guess different snow related kind of activities, and so even if you don't have snow, even if it doesn't snow where you live, or even if we don't get snow this year, then you can go down to the Snow Dome and partake in some snow related activities. And so the responses that I got back from my poll asking, let's see there we go, I asked the question of, what are the best activities for winter? What are the best activities for winter? And the responses were Netflix and hot chocolate. Yes, hot chocolate and Netflix. Again, it's a nice time to just it's a nice time to chill all the time, but to kind of maybe settle down in front of the TV with hot chocolate and blankets and just watch Netflix, watch a show, watch a Christmas film, whatever you want to do. Watch it on your own, watch it with a pet, watch it with your family, watch it with a friend, whoever. And another response was sledding, walk through park, building snowmen, chilling with hot drink, and baking. Yeah, there's some really good responses. Again, if it snows, and sledding's one of the best things to do, but snow dome again. Walk through park. It's nice at kind of winter Christmas time. I'm not a big I was about to say I'm not a big walking person. I'm not a big necessarily person on like, oh, let's go for a walk. Maybe I should be more like that, but it kind of depends. I guess it's not typically something that I'm very up for doing or that I'm most interested in doing. But at winter, I feel like it's different, especially kind of Christmas Eve type of time, or kind of around that sort of time of year. It's really nice. Building snowmen, again, if we get snow, definitely. Chilling with hot drink, again, hot chocolate, and baking. Yeah, I mean, if I think you have to start making a Christmas cake really, not really early on, but probably much earlier than this. But yeah, I don't know exactly how it works. Maybe you could start now, and if not, you can build. You can make. I guess it kind of is building. Especially if you're making a gingerbread house. I was about to say gingerbread, like people, but yeah, you can make gingerbread people. You can make a gingerbread house, or you can bake anything. You know, baking's always a good thing. And someone else said sleeping, definitely. You know. Sometimes you just wanna get under a bunch of blankets and just sleep and chill and get that very important rest that you know, I'm lacking on a bit. I'm not really lacking. I probably could do with more sleep than I get sometimes. And I don't have. I'm just a night I'm more of a night person. This is a whole nother topic. You know, I need to write this down. We're going to some topic ideas today. Night versus day people. That reminds me of Jade Bowlers. I think that's her name. She's done some merch, which is very cool. That's kind of looking at day and night. And yeah, definitely check that out as well. I think it's Jade Bowler. I think I might be saying that very wrong. She makes YouTube videos as well. But yeah, sleeping's a good thing, and that's something else we need to talk about in one of these shows. If we're getting enough sleep. There we go. Topic idea. Woo! Let me know what you want to hear. I've said my Instagram so many times this particular show, but last time at Atalia Hewing on Instagram or at Bold Digital Radio. Atalia Hewing is spelled ATALYAHEWING. That was said too quick. Anyway. I'm going to round up the show here because it is 6:58. I'm not sure if another show is on after this. There usually is, but obviously it depends if you know, particular circumstances and things, or if people are in today. If not, thank you so much for listening. And if there is a show after this, then stick around, you know, and listen to that. I'm sure it's incredible. And to round this show off, I'm going to play a suggested song. I know the receiver of this will probably be very happy. It's not really related to Christmas, but it's a very good song. Nevertheless, that's not the word. Nevertheless, that's right, I think. Anyway, this is Purple Rain by Prince. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next week. Good night.